Hello, wait, hang on. What episode are we on? 8?
8.
All right. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Peyton Pritchard podcast.
The what?
That's not it. It's the Pacific Perspectives podcast. I am your host, Nux Memes. I'm here again with Kyler Mimamoto. And in today's episode, we plan to discuss the Four Nations face-off rosters as they are coming out on Wednesday. So we want to give our picks, and then we'll also talk about the Oilers and the Canucks and answer some more questions again. But right now, I want to pass it off to our special guest for the day. He goes by the name of Rory. Rory, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Rory Arthur. I'm a Habs fan. I've kind of been that for 15 plus years now, kind of my whole life. I've grown up as one. I aspire to be a sports journalist, one day of my life. So, doing stuff like this and talking with my good friends is a good way to do that. So, yeah, that's what I like to do. I don't know.
All right,
Rory, let me tell you, you got to loosen up a little bit, okay?
I'm tense. I don't know what to say.
it's
We'll
it's
get
a
you
big.
loose. We'll be talking about
Once I talk about hockey,
Yeah.
I'm loose. I don't like talking about myself.
All right, well, it's fine. We'll get into hockey. Xavier, do you want to take the reins because you fucking forced me to make 4 rosters for these teams about a tournament I don't care about at all?
All right,
I actually.
the Four Nations face-off. First of all, are you guys feeling like actually kind of excited for it? Because I honestly, initially, I didn't really care, but now that it's like coming about, I actually am really interested. Way more than the World Juniors. I don't care about the World Juniors anymore.
I care about the World Juniors, but I've wanted to see best on best hockey for so long. Like it's been since 2016. So I really just I'm excited to see the actual best players in the world play for their countries again. It's been way too long.
Yeah,
I
even
care
if
about
it's
the-
4 nations, I don't know. There's no Russia, there's no Czechia.
It's a bad gimmick, but it's close enough. Like we're gonna see a high stakes Canada versus USA game in this. That's what I want to see.
Oh yeah,
I care about the World Juniors far more than I care about this. This is the fakest tournament of all time.
really.
That will give some country the worst bragging rights ever. I am curious to see if they'll try, though, because you don't want to
I
get
think they'll
injured
try.
during the tournament. And, I mean, we've seen the efforts during the All-Star game. So I am, if they're trying, I think it would be really interesting to see. And with some of the roster decisions, seeing some people play with other certain people that they wouldn't get to in the All-Star game, that would be pretty cool. So
I think in a
yeah.
vacuum, nobody cares about this tournament. But the players, they know it's a warm-up for the Olympics, so they're going to work their ass off for this. I don't think there's going to be really any slackers, and if they are, they're very quickly going to be benched.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I was going to say too. Like this is all about Olympic preparation for next year. Like that's a big tournament, but like if you come in and you play poorly at this tournament, like it's going to hurt your chances of making the Olympic team next year. And that is what every single player that's even in contention for these rosters cares about. It's about making the Olympics next year. So I think there's going to be a good amount of intensity. Everyone loves playing for their country, so I think it's going to be pretty fun.
Okay, let's jump into our choices for the rosters. I feel like we should start with Finland and then move our way to Canada.
Yeah.
I think we should do Canada last.
Definitely.
Sure.
Okay, so for Finland, how do we want to? Do we want to like?
Okay, so for Finland, I think we've all decided we have the same 7 defensemen, and I mean, it's not like there's much to look at or choose from there. We all have Heiskanen, Välimäki, Lindell, Ristolainen, Mikkola, Jokiharju, and Olli Mata making it for the Finns. And I mean, besides Heiskanen, there's absolutely nothing there. At forward, I have, going left to right for all the lines, top line, Mikael Granlund, Alex Barkov, Mikko Rantanen. Second line, Laine, Aho, Puljärvi. People know that was nasty.
Yes, Puljärvi on the second line. Oh my god, yes,
On the
Puljärvi on the
second
second line. You have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me right
You
now.
pull
Okay.
Yardi on the
Oh
second
my
line, but
God.
Arturi Lehkonen doesn't make it up there.
He has Jesse Puljärvi on the second line.
Listen,
Are you guys hearing this? Am I going crazy right now?
that's just 5v5. He's not on the power play. He's not. You need some penalty killers. First of all, you want to
Yeah, the
win.
penalty killers don't play the second line.
Sure they do. Sure they do. Puljärvi was
No.
on the top line in Edmonton for how long, and he was their best penalty killer.
And Edmonton lost.
That was
games?
when Edmonton was really bad. Okay, but you know what I mean? And I mean, it's not like I'm not forfeiting having a good... Let me finish with this roster. Lehkonen, Hintz, Teravainen. Yes, that's a third line. Haula, Lindell, and Kakko as the fourth line. And then as a 13th forward, I have Luostarinen. Possibly could play over Lindell depending on the circumstance. But Puljujärvi, come on. Your other right wing options are Teravainen or Kakko, and obviously Puljujärvi is the third worst there. But it's not like I'm putting Puljujärvi over like McDavid on the right side. Like there isn't much to speak of there either. So I feel
Finland
like it's just spreading it out.
Oh my God, Rory! Please tell us your roster. I can't take it.
Yeah, I do not have Jesse Puljujärvi on my roster. I'll say that right off the hop here. So I have Lehkonen, Barkov, and Rantanen as my top line. Line Aho, Hintz is my second line. Teravainen, Lundell, Granlund is my third line. And the Michelli, Luostarinen, and Joel Armia is my fourth line with Capo Kakko in the 13th forward spot. Yeah, I have 7 same defensemen, and we'll get to the goalies later.
The thing that really got to me there was the Armia pick, which, like, I get it, because if you look at their depth options, you can argue for most people, maybe not Puljujärvi, but Armia was a bit of a crazy one for me to read. I guess, like, I see the justification for it, but that having Armia on a best roster doesn't really inspire a lot of
It's a bit shameless, yeah. I was thinking Jesperi Kotkaniemi can maybe make that spot too. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too much in a Habs brain here, but Joel Armia has played at a lot of World Championships for Finland, and he's been really good at a lot of World Championships for Finland. He's a guy that, the staff there is going to know really, really well. He's a guy that, they've played with a lot. I think there's more comfort picking him than picking a player who's played a lot less for Finland internationally. So that was kind of the rationale I went with there. Especially at the bottom of these rosters, like these GMs, these coaches are going to want to pick players that they know. So I think Armia's past performances for Finland kind of earn him a spot on this roster for me.
I do get that thinking. I considered him. I didn't put him on because I think I prefer Kakko and Puljujärvi on that same kind of defensive bottom sixer role. But even though I had him on the second line, I know we'll hear about that. But yeah,
you will hear about that actually all episode. I've heard.
Okay, I'll get into mine now. Everybody that I have in my forwards has been mentioned, but one of them is someone that neither of you two have, so that's something. I have first line Hintz, Barkov, Rantanen. Second line Granlund, Aho, Line. Third line Lehkonen, Lundell, Kakko. Fourth line Haula, Teravainen, Michelli. And then my extra forward, who neither of you guys had, was Kotkaniemi. So
yeah, that's fair. I just felt like they had too many centers already.
Second line.
Oh, come on. But we got to think about the usage here. You got to think about the usage.
That is a joke. This is why people call this. This is why people comment, "Hey, bro, let's start a podcast." It's like that.
That's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened to start.
Well, we've already covered the defense. We have the same 7. I feel like we
probably all have the same goalies. Yeah,
I would hope so. There's 3 that pretty much stick out to me.
Yeah, do you want to just name your 3 and we'll see? I feel like I want to hope that Xavier has those 3. I know I have the same 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Let's hear.
UC Saros is the obvious starter here. Like, there's no real qualms about that. And then I have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Kevin Lankinen as my other 2 goalies.
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's not a lot of debate there. Like, those are easily your top 3 Finnish goalies right now.
I mean, if Husso wasn't awful
in that tournament.
If Husso wasn't awful and Lankinen wasn't doing this, then maybe, but I don't think that would have... Like, again, it's Saros. He's the starter every single day.
Yeah, there's not much debate to be had there. The only real interesting part of Finland is who they pick as their depth forwards, but hopefully it's not Puljujärvi. If it's Puljujärvi, I think I will die on the spot.
Well, yeah, the depth forwards for Finland are... Because that's like... There's just some weird NHL players who are in the bottom 6 of NHL teams there. You don't really see that in international hockey.
Not at the top of the game. Not a teams that win. The thing with Finland is that they win based on their systems and their like general like desire rather than just like straight up we have the best players at every position up and down the lineup. How they win in the World Juniors every year.
If anyone was going to pick a Puljärvi, it would be Finland, I think.
I was
Oh, yeah.
I was saying to Rory over GMs that it's crazy we're gonna be like this tournament is replacing the All-Star game. And we're gonna be watching Rasmus Ristolainen and we're not gonna be watching Kirill Kaprizov.
or Kucherov, or
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's
No
insane.
Ovi.
Well, you know what? If we're talking about how bad Finland is on defense, if Russia was in this tournament, would they even have 6 defensemen?
That's a good
they
question.
might have to go to the
'Cause
depths of
think about it.
Zadorov.
Yeah.
Sergachev,
I mean-
Zadorov. I can't think of anybody else.
I mean, Dmitry
Zub.
Orlov, Zub.
Love
I'm
Zoo.
thinking here.
Their forward group and their goalie group.
Yeah,
They don't even have any good
you know,
centers.
Shesterkin, Vasilevsky.
Oh, they'd still do
The road,
damage,
right?
but
Yeah, they faced 50 shots, but they saved 47 of them, right? Like,
yeah. They don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
that
more concerned
Soviet
about
defense.
Finland. All right, moving on to Sweden. This feels like I feel like the defense that I have. It might not be what everyone has, but I don't think you can really argue it too much. It's I have Dahlin Carlson, and then I have Hedman Anderson, and then I have Ekholm Forsling, and then my 7th defenseman is Jonas Brodin.
Interesting. I'm I only have one different pick from you, and I really, although my lines are completely different. I actually started with Hedman Brodin, and I know Brodin is a lefty, but he can play right. And then I have Ekholm Carlson, and then I have Forsling and Dahlin, and then I have Marcus Pettersson as the extra D.
really.
Yeah.
Over Rasmus Anderson.
Yep.
I mean, it's
That's
interesting. Like, if you're looking at the analytics this year, Pettersson's been better. But if you're looking at who Sweden's going to pick, they're going to look at Anderson's stats over Pettersson's.
Yeah.
I would imagine, but at the
But I don't
same
mind that.
time, there's just the offensive right defenseman, Carlson and Dahlin are better in every way than Rasmus Anderson.
Dahlin isn't
so
really right-handed, is he?
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure he is.
No,
Like,
Dahlin's a left-handed, but
Are you sure?
he does play right.
Yeah, I was gonna say he can play both sides. Like
Most of the guys on Sweden play both sides, like Ekholm does as well.
Yeah,
Started talking with right-handed.
I would say yeah. Like Dahlin's left-handed, but I have him
Not
playing the
right-handed.
right. Like he can play either side, and he has before.
Missed what I was saying. Okay. Rory, what are your? I actually know your defense is similar to mine, but you also have a different guy in
Yes.
there. I think.
I do have a different, and my the order of my line of my pairs are different just than both of yours. I have Hedman and then Dahlin playing his offside. I have Ekholm and Carlson on my second pair. I have Gustav Forsling and Rasmus Anderson on my third pair, and then I have Hampus Lindholm as my extra defenseman. I think he's had
Not
a great
bad.
year for Boston. I think he's been steady for a while. I think he's a guy that they'll lean to over a Marcus Pettersson or a Jonas Brodin, in my opinion.
Okay, so we still have the same 6, but we just have a different 7th defenseman. And honestly, I think all those 3 that we have that are different are good picks.
You can't.
Yeah,
you
I
cannot
think this
go
is the
wrong.
best decor in the tournament. I
There's not
honestly
much
do. They're
argument to be
so
made,
good.
on our picks. Good work, guys. Respectful picks.
Very nice.
Do
It'll
we wanna
only
do
go
goalies
downhill
right
from
now?
here.
We can do goalies and forwards because I feel like the goalies are going to be pretty boring too. I wouldn't imagine any difference.
Okay, actually, I want to go right into the goalies. So we probably all have Markstrom, Gustafsson, Ullmark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who starts out of that is a good
Yeah.
question.
Who do you have? Who do you have starting?
I didn't really order it, but I would say, like, you can't have Allmark. Allmark has not been that good
No,
this
not
season.
Ullmark.
I feel like just for experience's sake, Markstrom, but Gustafsson
Yeah.
has been really good
Yeah.
so far.
I agree.
Yeah,
Gustafsson has been better, but Markstrom's played before. You have to play Markstrom.
I was going to say, I agree with that. Markstrom's your guy at this tournament. I think Gustafsson has a good chance of, 2028 World Cup of Hockey, assuming that happens, 2030 Olympics. I think he's a good chance of being your guy then, assuming, Jesper Wallstedt's not a star by then. But I think in this tournament, it's a mix of experience and play this year. It has to be Jacob Markstrom.
Easily, yeah.
Okay, well, we all agree again. Let's go to
Pretty
an
good.
area where we won't all agree, which is forwards. I'm very curious to hear who Xavier has on forward for
Okay,
Sweden.
so top line, and you might spaz here. I don't know. I have Nylander, Eriksson Ek, and Forsberg as the top line.
I knew you wouldn't have Pedersen as the 1C. I don't know how, but I knew you weren't going to have Pedersen 1C.
It's a stylistic fit. You want to put Nylander and Pedersen and Forsberg as your top line?
I would.
That's gonna that's gonna suck. Somehow that would suck.
Would you have Pedersen? You'd have Pedersen first power play over Eriksson Ek, right?
I'm gonna say he's not going to because he's gonna say that Eriksson Ek's gonna play net front or something.
No, I'd have them both.
Okay.
Because I feel like you need to have a guy like you can't all be skill, especially on the power play.
I get it.
You need someone.
Go to your second line. Keep it going.
All right, I've got Kempe, Pedersen, and Bratt. Also, just ridiculous. And then I have Zetterlund, Lindholm, and Eklund as the third line. And for the fourth line, I've got Raquel, Carlson, and Raymond, and then Michael Backlund as the extra forward.
Just for experience's sake, I can see the Backlund pick coming true, but I do not have Michael Backlund.
Yeah, same. I don't know. I think he's pretty clearly taken a couple steps backward. I could see it as a 13th forward, like you said, but I don't know. I wouldn't have him. If I'm making the Sweden team, I'm not picking him. He can be on the coaching staff or something.
I'll do mine. I have the same top six. Besides, I did the obvious thing of Pedersen first line because I'm not crazy. So it's Forsberg, Pedersen, Nylander, Kempe, Eriksson Ek, Bratt, and then my third line is Eklund, William Karlsson, and Raymond. My fourth line is Zetterlund, Fabian Zetterlund, Mika Zibanejad, Elias Lindholm, but Elias Lindholm's probably actually the center because he's a good faceoff guy. And then my extra forward is Leo Carlson.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have Forsberg, Pedersen, Nylander again. I think you're underrating Forsberg's ability to do the dirty work, Xavier. I think he can go down and beat BF1. And then I have Brad Eriksson, I can Kempe on the second line. I have Leo Carlson on the third line with Zibanejad and Raymond. Then I have Elias Lindholm, William Karlsson, Fabian Zetterlund on the fourth line with Rickard Rakell as the extra forward.
You know, the Zibanejad pick, you didn't bring it up immediately, but I don't think if you're Sweden,
look, he's been bad. I get it.
And you want to win a tournament, not only are there better centers with just better ability all around, there are better offensive players. There are 12 better offensive players you can pick for this team. You could argue between Carlson and Zibanejad, but I just figure you want to have a younger spark as opposed to a stale guy who just isn't doing well.
I completely agree with you. I had no direction on my picks. I weighed both what I think they would do and what I would want to see, and I would not want to see Mika Zibanejad on this team. But I feel like just for name value, they're probably going to do it.
I don't know. Yeah,
I think the upside play with him. We've seen what Mika Zibanejad can do. We haven't seen it in a couple of years. But Mika Zibanejad is a guy that even still can score you a big goal. And I was picking, in terms of the young spark, I was picking between Leo Carlson and William Eklund. I think William Eklund's had a better year this year. But I don't know. I just think Leo Carlson's so talented that it's hard not to pick him. But I don't know if you can have both. I don't know if you can fit both into that roster. I could see a world where maybe they take a Backlund and then leave off Zibanejad and put Elias Lindholm as a center and Carlson as a center. Those are your four centers. But I don't know how comfortable they are doing that over just taking Mika Zibanejad, a guy that's done it before for Sweden from the World Junior level to World Championships. I think it's too hard to leave him off. I think he's done too much, even if he's been atrocious for the past 18 months.
Just a lot of it for me is how many amazing elite centers they have. You have Ek, Pedersen, Lindholm. So there's no... I mean, I guess you could argue he's better than Elias Lindholm, who's also been kind of trash. But he's not as bad, especially defensively, as Zibanejad. There isn't really an argument to be made that he's better at defense than any of
Oh,
those top three guys.
He's absolutely not. But
So then you'd have to play him on the fourth line, and at that point, it's like, why you're not going to be on the power play over these guys. So why would you bring him?
I put him on the second power play. He could be in the second power play.
I don't know. It's it's too deep. It's too deep for him to really have an excuse to be there.
I understand your logic. I do. I really do. I can't see a world where he doesn't make the team. Go ahead.
I just want to give a quick shout out to William Eklund. You touched on him having a good season, but as a big enjoyer of San Jose Sharks hockey, I just want to shout that guy out. Massive season, good work, William Eklund. I hope you get that. I hope you get named to that roster, buddy. And if you do, maybe I'll buy your jersey. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
That would be.
I think the best prospect ahead of the 2021 draft. I've always kind of believed in him. I'm really happy to see him break out.
He's a good-looking guy.
Most Swedes are.
Let me just say it. William Eklund. Now he's got a smile on him. He looks like a kind guy. He has kind eyes.
We're talking about hockey here. All right,
perspectives officially goes off the rails.
All right, let's go to America.
Yeah, let's go to America. This one, I think.
Stuff to say about America.
Yeah. These next two, the North American countries, I think there's a lot more. There's some different picks.
There's
you can
some
make.
choices.
They've got deeper NHL rosters that you can make some.
Okay, Rory, do you want to start off with the defense and goalies?
Yeah, I can do that. So I have Quinn Hughes and Adam Fox on the top pair. It might not be the greatest defensively, but I don't care. It's Quinn Hughes and Adam Fox.
Hey! Quinn Hughes is a good defensive player, and I will die on that hill. Quinn Hughes
he is, but I don't know. Like you put a whole bunch of big players against two small defensemen and see what happens. No matter how good defensively Quinn Hughes is off the rush. And then I have Zach Werenski and Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, Brock Faber, and then John Carlson as my extra. And then in net I have Hellebuck as the starter and Andre and Swayman backing up.
Yeah, I have the same goalies. I'd assume, Xavier, do you have the same goalies as that?
I was blanking because I was thinking of how much McDavid burned Quinn Hughes in the playoffs, but I have Hellebuck, Ottinger, and Swayman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same three.
I just want to say I hate you a lot. Now, I want to say how funny it is right now. If you had told me back in September that I'd be watching one Canucks goalie at the Four Nations face-off, and it's Kevin Lankinen, I would be dying laughing at you. And I'm laughing now. It's kind of funny, but obviously Demko makes this team if he were healthy. So it's kind of funny. If one of those three goaltenders goes down, he's got to be first in line. He's coming back soon enough, so...
I don't think he would because he doesn't play like I don't know. If he came back from injury, I don't think he'd make it over Swayman because he's injured. He's better than Swayman.
He's back from injury. He's not injured anymore. What are you talking about?
I'm saying if he weren't injured.
Okay, if he had never been injured in his entire life.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. It's a tough one. If he makes it and makes the decisions way tougher, I think right now the decision is pretty easy in the goalies.
Yeah. Guys, Demko finished second in Vezina voting.
Yeah, I'm on your side here. I'm on your side
better than Jake Ottinger.
I guess but injuries, man. I don't know.
Demko makes the team if he's a healthy player, but he's sadly not. Don't ever try to argue for Jake Ottinger and current day Jeremy Swayman over Thatcher Demko again, or I will fly to Edmonton and I will rip your fucking head off. All right, I'll follow it up with my defense because it's similar. It's similar. I also fucked up. I added someone as a joke, and I forgot to remove them, and now we're just going to roll with it. So I have the same top four. I have Hughes, Fox, and Werenski, McAvoy. Werenski's having a good year, too. He had a 5-point game. That's kind of crazy.
He's a beast.
On the third pairing...
I think.
Pardon?
Leads the league in ice time, I think.
Plays 30 minutes a game, something like that.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Kind of has to. For the third pairing on right defense, I do also have Brock Faber, but I didn't have Slavin on left defense. I considered him, and he's a great pick because he's amazing defensively, but that's boring, so I went for Jake Sanderson. And then
I like that.
You're a fucking Habs fan, okay? I don't really care about your opinion on the Senators hockey because you hate them with all your heart. My seventh defenseman now, unfortunately, is the guy I forgot to remove. It is Jordan Osterley, and I'm just going to live and die by that now.
I think he makes it. Hands in the air. He could make it. Never say never.
Jordan,
that's my bad.
How did Jordan Osterley...
I read it right now.
How did Jordan Osterley end up on your roster?
I saw his
put it
name
there.
and I was like, okay, I don't want to think too hard about this. I'm just going to add Jordan Osterley because it's funny. And then when I realized that I actually had to go by this,
Yeah, Jacob Slavin is right there.
I did not think of Jordan Osterley.
For me,
I forgot about the fact that Jordan Osterley was on my team.
I-
But now Jordan
Right.
Osterley's on my team, so I'm going to stick by it. Let's go Jordan
you got to
Osterley.
stick to your
Crazier
guns.
things have happened.
I have the
That's
same
true.
goalies. I feel like, obviously, well, I don't even feel like. I know, obviously, Hellebuck is the starter of those three, like, easily. It's
Yeah.
not even a question at all.
Not even close.
Who do you guys think is the backup? Do you guys think it's Ottinger?
I think it's Ottinger. I think he's been better this season. I think they'll just go off of form.
I think it's Ottinger just because he's played in the playoffs before and how he's played in the playoffs, of course. So,
Well,
yeah.
Swayman has played in the playoffs. It's not worked out too well for him.
He had, yeah, exactly. He
He
hasn't
was
played
good
that
last
good.
year. He was good last year.
Okay, so
That
for
Ottinger playoff series against
for
Calgary
my
a couple years
defense-
ago
Yeah,
will be
I'm not saying
amazing.
he's been better than Ottinger last year.
Okay, Xavier, what's your defense?
I'm actually really surprised that you guys did not do this, but I had Hughes and McAvoy as the top pair, and
I
You
then
want to stick Hughes and Fox together?
and
That's
then
way more
Werenski
fun.
and Fox. And
Nah,
I don't know.
Hughes
I feel like
and
those
Fox
pairs
is
make
fun.
way more sense.
Maybe they do, but
Just
Listen, maybe
stylistically for me.
sometimes you just have to let your two best defensemen ball.
Maybe if it weren't a fake tournament, I'd agree with you, but it's a fake tournament. I want to see Hughes and Fox together. If it's
I mean,
Olympics and it actually
just
matters,
just
you can do
because
that,
of the
but-
legacy and like the debate in like the 2020 like the 2020s, that would be sick to see. I won't lie. Although it's
Yeah.
not much of a debate anymore. And then the third pair I have Sanderson and Carlson, which like anywhere else in the tournament could be like the top pair. Like it's insane just how deep they are on defense. And then yeah, seventh defenseman I have Slavin. If I'd say you maybe swap Sanderson and Slavin throughout the games, just depending. You probably give them a couple pre-tourney and then see what happens there.
So
Do they
I'm-
have
I'm
pre-tournament games?
Like any, their equivalent of that. I don't know.
You mean like the round robin games?
Yeah, round robin games. We'll see who comes in there.
I'm kind of noticing right now that you snubbed Jordan Osterley. What's up with that?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I actually didn't think of him
How?
because of the fact that he's awful
Source?
and around source.
Listen,
Okay.
lay off the ostrich, man. Okay.
Did I see
Let's
his charts?
get into. His analytics are awful.
All right.
His
all right.
analytics are
Someone
terrible.
someone do the forwards. I'll pull up the charts. Someone start with their forwards.
All right. Oh, we're gonna like this because I feel like you could
It's gonna
pick.
be good. This
There's like 15 guys you could pick, and you could just blend the lines up, randomize them, and they'd be right. It doesn't matter what you pick. I feel like it's going to be right.
All right. You
Although-
yapped for too long. I got the charts up, and guess what? Guess what? I see blue. I see blue. For
No.
all-
Dad,
Wait,
get him
he's
on
still
the team.
playing?
I've
For
seen
all
enough.
the
I've
audio
seen enough.
listeners, these charts have more blue on them than red. So
What
Jordan
team-
Osterley, welcome.
What team is Jordan Osterley on? Is he on the Hawks?
I think it's Boston. Is
Yeah.
it Boston?
He's on
I think it
Boston?
is. I remember seeing him yesterday
Yeah.
when the Habs played the Bruins. I thought, hey, Jordan Osterley's still in the league? That's a surprise.
Yeah, that's the reaction anyone would have to seeing Jordan Osterley. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, he had an assist yesterday, you know what? He had an assist.
No
He's
way.
a +2.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Guys! The Osterley to Slavin comparison. Please focus. Oh my god!
No!
Hashtag
Jordan
nudising. Nudising.
Tap
Jordan
in.
Osterley, you know, he played almost 20
Wait.
minutes yesterday.
Does Slavin
Didn't really do
suck?
anything poorly?
Does Slavin suck? What happened, buddy?
That is
think
funny. Yeah.
I think it's a
for the audio
22
listeners.
game
Once again,
sample.
there's more red on Slavin's chart than blue. So maybe I was cooking with my Osterley pick.
Oh, well, all right. I'm just gonna pretend you didn't insinuate that Jordan Osterley is better than Jacob Slavin.
I mean,
I'm
you
not
saw
going to
the
pretend. I'm
picture.
going to tell you Jordan was better than Jacob.
Getting into the
Rectangles
forwards.
don't lie.
First line, I've got Jack Hughes beside Austin Matthews and Jake Gensel. Second line, it's going to be Kachuk, or it's going to be both Kachuks flanking Jack Eichel. And then I've got Kyle Connor, JT Miller, and then Matt Boldy, young one coming in. And on the fourth line, I think you'll like this, I have on the right side, Alex Tuck. In the middle, Saber teammate Tage Thompson, and on the left, it's Connor Garland.
What the fuck?
And as the
Connor
13th forward, stay with me. I'm gonna have Kyle Palmieri.
What? Kyle Palmieri? What year is it?
He is nasty this year. Right now, this is one of his best years.
No,
It's insane.
He's doing well, but I mean, you've left out some people that I think are probably better coaches than Kyle Palmieri.
I don't think I left out anyone important. I'll tell you that right now.
When you said I think you're gonna like this, I thought you were talking to Rory. I thought you had Caulfield, and then you
No.
Connor Garland.
No, Caulfield. Do you really? Okay, you're okay. If I'm going with a small guy, you already have the power play. Both power plays filled out. I'm going to go with the small guy that's a lot more scrappy than crumbles in the corners.
That is really funny.
No offense.
Listen, I respect you so much for having Connor Garland, but that is really
he's
funny,
good.
'cause I did not expect that to come out of your mouth.
He's good. What can I say? Short
Oh, he's
king.
amazing. He's a very, very good player. And I mean, if this were picked how an All-Star game is picked based off of this year, he makes it.
I'm curious to see what your guys' lines look like. I know there'll be some different forward picks, though.
I'll do mine next. I feel like I kind of I got into it a little bit, but I've got a top line: Kyle Connor, Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk. Second line, I should have switched these up a bit, but I'm just gonna go with what I have right now because I don't really care. Second line: Gensel, Hughes, Caulfield. I like Caulfield. I think Caulfield's a fun guy to watch.
That
in this
line
tournament.
would get caved. I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't have him on my team either. I love Cole Caulfield. I can't. I just couldn't find a spot for him.
Yeah.
I like Caulfield. Third line, I have Miller, Eichel, and I don't think Xavier said this, and I don't think Rory has him, but I have Clayton Keller.
Yeah, I had him in the same boat as Caulfield. I just couldn't find a spot for him.
Same.
And then I have fourth line, Brady Tkachuk, Dylan Larkin, Tage Thompson. My extra forward is Matt Boldy, but he could definitely easily work his way into the lineup. Maybe I could put him on the second line over Caulfield.
Yeah. Insane
Maybe.
fourth line.
I don't know.
Rory, what do you have?
I have Kyle Connor with Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk, just like JC. I kind of like that line. Connor's speed with the other two, just being general insane players is going to be nice. Then I have Jason Robertson with Jack Hughes and Tage Thompson. My third line is Jake Gensel next to Jack Eichel and JT Miller. Then I have Matt Boldy, Dylan Larkin, Brady Tkachuk on the fourth line with Chris Kreider as my extra forward. I know he's having a tough year, but
Kreider was a very interesting pick when I read yours. But the other one that stuck out to me, which you just kind of breezed by, is Jason Robertson. Now,
look.
What's it?
I get it. He's had a tough year, but sometimes you got to bet on skill. Sometimes you have to bet on the skill and the talent that's there.
He's just on such a lull, and it's such a short tournament. You can't really go to those guys that could potentially.
I disagree. I think you take your best players that fill a role. I think Jason Robertson, at the absolute worst, he's still a positive defensive player. If he really sucks, you can just put him as your 13th forward, and he's not going to give up anything the other way. Even if he's not scoring, even if he's struggling offensively, he's still a decent defensive player. You just have to put a little bit of speed with him, which is why I put Jack Hughes there. Jack Hughes can be puck dominant. Robertson can find the space. He's still got a good shot. Everyone knows how good he can be in tight areas. I think the threat of of Tage Thompson on the other side of that shot, I think the just innate, insane ability with the puck Jack Hughes has, I think it's gonna open up a lot of space, and I think Jason Robertson can thrive in that space. I know how tough of a season he's had, but I like the skill and I like the fit better than I do with the Cole Caulfield or Clayton Keller, because I think with those guys you're getting a roster that's a little bit too small. It's not going to go up well against Canada, who objectively has a very big roster.
I think that is the one thing, if you're going to go with a struggling player like him, that he kind of has going for him. But yeah, if I brought him on, I'd definitely play him in the role that like Palmieri or Tuck or Garland would be in.
Oh my god, I forgot you have Palmieri!
That's what I mean. Jason Robertson can, at the very worst, do what Palmieri is going to do on your roster, and at the very best, he can do twice as good as what Palmieri is going to do on your roster. He's just
not used to the role. You'd probably have Palmieri playing as like a forecheck. Like I'm not saying
I don't need him to be a forecheck. I can have him and Tage Thompson both go into the corners. I can have Jack Hughes take the puck out and maintain possession. Kind of create the game with the puck on his stick. Let those guys find the soft spots. You're gonna have the defensemen on the back end that can all activate. I think Jason Robertson can drift high, which he likes to do. I remember in the playoffs a couple of times, he'd drift high and take just like shoot from deep. He's a smart player. He understands where to go on the ice. I think he's smart enough that it makes way more sense to put him there than Kyle Palmieri because he's had a good year.
Kyle Palmieri. Well, it's not just because he's had a good year. I mean, what does he have? He only has like 10 goals and 5 assists. Like, he's not insane.
Then why is he on your team?
I definitely can't. I definitely can't argue against Robertson too hard. I mean, as deep as the USA is, like, I'm picking Palmieri, Tucken, and Garland on the fourth line. So clearly, Jason Robertson, he would have a spot. Because it's such a short tournament, I can't wait for a guy like that to get going.
I agree that I don't hate the Robertson pick. Like, it makes sense. He's a 100-point scorer. He just kind of sucks, and I feel like I honestly think I have the best forward lines out of us three just for having Clayton Keller. I think Clayton Keller needs to be there. I will be so upset if Clayton Keller doesn't make the roster.
I don't know. Rory said it best. You don't, especially against Canada, you can't have those guys. You can't have those super light guys when you already. I don't know.
Look,
I think USA's got to build a heavy team.
You could reach Canada and you won't be able to outscore them because like you can score 5 goals on their goalies, but you need 6. Maybe that becomes a problem. But
you just have to pray Hellebuck turns into Hasek.
Yeah, I don't think that's how international hockey's going to play out. Like I can't see. I can't see at this tournament there being too many like high scoring games, because I think everyone's going to be worried about being the guy that lets Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon or Cale Makar just cook them, right? Like I can't. I think the U.S. is smarter than that, because you can't play run and gun with Canada. The only advantage you're going to have is in net there, and I don't know.
I'll just say when Wednesday comes and Jordan Osterley is on the roster, I expect like 500-word apologies from both of you. Let's move on to Canada. We've been talking about this.
We've talked about USA for so long, and you know what?
Canada is the country that we are all from, so I'm sure we'll have stuff to say here. I feel like there are some interesting picks to be ahead here.
I think there's one player that's going to be really interesting to see if he's on all of our rosters.
Okay. Can we start with goalies here?
Xavier, you start with defense. I want to start with forwards. I want to say my forwards first, but Xavier, you say your defense and goalies. Actually, no, we should save goalies for last. Goalies are very interesting in this.
Yeah,
I wanted to do goalies first. I don't know.
No, do the
goalies last.
All right.
Do defense and forwards first.
All right, defense first. I have as the top pair. I think I know who you're talking about, Rory. I have Uyghur and Makar as the top pair.
Morrissey. I really, really thought you were going to have Bouchard over Makar on the first pair.
No,
I was waiting for it.
No. You need to have guys who are a bit faster, and then I have Morrissey and Bouchard as the second pair, and just don't act up. I have Chychrun and Jared Spurgeon as the third pair, and then Thomas Chabot as the extra D.
Oh, Thomas Chabot! I don't like Thomas Chabot as a choice.
He's not bad.
I understand the rest of them. I really do understand the rest of them, but I cannot get behind Thomas Chabot. Not over Shea Theodore. Not over Shea Theodore. He doesn't do anything better.
I don't like Shea Theodore. I'll be honest.
I don't have Jared Spurgeon, but I do actually like that pick.
I agree.
I think they'll take him.
Rory, do you want to do your defense, and we'll see who you have?
I think mine's pretty bog standard here. I kind of went with a little bit of a chemistry angle. I have Devin Taves and Cale Makar as the top pair. I think that's what the majority of people are going to have. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I have Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo as my second pair. I have Josh Morrissey and Evan Bouchard as my third pair, and I have Drew Doughty as my extra defenseman.
Oh, you know what? I can see that. I didn't even think of that. I wouldn't do it, but look, I can see that.
My rationale, quickly before JC goes, my rationale with this one is Drew Doughty has the experience. He was with Canada in 2016 and 2014. I think the way Hockey Canada operates, they want a guy who can play as much as he does. I know he's been injured this year, but in the past however many years, he's played 24 minutes plus a game. I think they like having that. I think that's why I don't have him on my list, but it sure seems like Travis Sanheim is going to make the roster. I think that's why he's there. I think in terms of Drew Doughty, though, the ability he has of having that experience of best on best hockey, I think is something that's very valuable to the way Hockey Canada likes to operate and likes to evaluate their teams. even if he's the 7th defenseman and doesn't play very much, he can go in the locker room and be I know what it's like playing the U.S. in a big game. I know what it's like playing Sweden in a big game. I know what it's like playing in a gold medal game. I don't know if I buy that logic. I don't know if I like that logic, but I think that is the logic that Hockey Canada strives by, and I think that's why Drew Doughty's want to be on the team, along with Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah, Pietrangelo, I definitely think that thinking applies. But Doughty, yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I mean, the rosters are finalized before he's back.
He's supposed to be back early January. I actually looked this up before making my roster because I didn't want to look like an idiot, and he's not back until March now. Kings Media, he's out of a walking boot now. Kings Media, I think it was Dennis Bernstein is reporting they're still targeting an early January return that gives him a whole month to get ready and play games. He'll be in full game shape by the time the tournament starts. I have no doubt. And I still think he's a good player. He was really good last year. So
he is a good player. All
right, I'll give mine. I will say I don't think Xavier. You didn't have Devin Taves, right?
No,
I don't either because I think he's just bad.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Okay, well, he's not
I do
bad,
agree that
but...
I think that he's the consensus for that lefty spot besides Makar, and that's probably what's going to happen. But we can do whatever the fuck we want, so I don't have Taves on my roster. It sucks. My top pair is Morrissey Makar. That might be a bit too offensive, but I think it'd be fun to watch.
Morrissey's all right defensively.
I think he's a little small. But Makar's a big guy. I think he's a big enough guy. He can throw the body.
My second pairing is Dougie Hamilton and Evan Bouchard. I feel like that's intriguing. And then my third pairing, he's having a monster year, Jacob Chikrin. And then
Teacher.
My third, I say Chikrin. I hear commentators say both, so I don't care. I'm saying Chikrin because it's easier to say.
I always knew it as Chikrin.
Yeah. So shut the fuck up, Xavier.
Okay, listen.
And then no. Defenseman culture, and then you can say what you need to say. I've been holding this in. I want to say my last two defensemen.
Continue.
My third pairing right defense, I also went the Drew Doughty path. I feel like this is such a fake tournament. It's so stupid. I think he's a great player, even if he's injured. I think he's going to make it just because he's Drew Doughty. And then my extra defenseman, I didn't want to do it. I did it anyway. Alex Pietrangelo. I hate that guy.
Ugh.
I'm not a fan either, but like he's going to be on the team.
Disgusting.
Okay, what were you going to say now?
If they put... Okay, I love Evan Bouchard, and I support Dougie Hamilton. If they put Dougie Hamilton and Bouchard on a pairing together, it'd be so hilarious because they'd average one horrible giveaway a game, and it would... It'd be so hilarious.
Zone, it's literally going to be point shots or point shot. Like it's going to be like watching. If you've ever gone back, I like to watch the Habs 2010 playoff run again. Hockey was so different back then. The amount of point shots, D to D one timers that were back then, it would just be like that. The puck would go to the point. You get Dougie Hamilton firing wrist shots. You get Evan Bouchard like ripping boosh bombs. There would be no forward going high. Like you just put three forwards in front of the net. Just hope like I don't know. I don't want to give away our forwards, but hope like like a Brad Marchand or Sidney Crosby are in front of the net. Just tip.
Yeah.
Screen, like
you couldn't play that pair.
And yeah, you're right. The one egregious giveaway and the other guy just not covering would be really funny.
You could not play that pair with like the McDavid line or like. I don't know if you have him, but the point, like you couldn't play him with the guys that go super fast. You got to play him with the guys that are parked in front of the net.
Yes, we haven't talked about forwards yet. Hang on.
We haven't. You're right.
But Point is like already on the roster. Like he's one of the 6 that they chose in July.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't even consider that. Well, it's a good thing I have him. Otherwise, I'd look like an idiot.
I guess I don't really know. I could have definitely cut someone who's already been guaranteed on the Canadian roster. I don't know, but I don't care. I'm just going with what I have. I'm going to start it off with forwards. We've been doing this for a while. And we still have to go through forwards and goalies. I'm going to give my forwards. Now, I think I'm going to start it off by saying something that is not going to be popular, but it's what I want to see, and I think you guys can respect wanting to see it. My top line is Bedard, McDavid, Reinhart. Now, Bedard...
so hard.
Bedard having a bit of a tough season, but Bedard and McDavid on a line together, oh my god, I need it. I need it so bad. I need it. I want to see that. It would be so fucking sick.
It would be good preparation for the future, too. Like, think 2028, 2030, like, those are going to be two guys. So.
I definitely think if you bring Bedard...
And then Reinhart is there just because he's, like, been one of the best players in the league this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have him. We'll get there. Go ahead.
I think if you have the
second
guard on the
line-
team, you need to put him with McDavid, though.
Yeah.
So,
Can you shut up for a second?
sorry.
Second line, Marner, Crosby, McKinnon. Obviously, Crosby and McKinnon are going to be playing together. That's kind of a given. Third line, I have Marchand, Point, Stone. I feel like that's a good two-way line. And then
Interesting.
fourth line, I have someone on my fourth line who I doubt either of you have, but I want to give him the spot. This is now my other two on the fourth line. It's Verhaeghe and Scheifele. That's not crazy. That's not out of this world. But this tournament is replacing the All-Star game, and I feel like it would be a bit of a waste if we didn't shout out people who are having big seasons. And I need to give this guy some
You
love
did not
because
put
he
Kiefer
deserves
Sherwood
love.
on the team.
My fourth line right winger is Dylan Strome.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. The second you said big season and like I want to give this guy some respect, I'm like saying Dylan Strome.
Xavier, who do you think?
You know what? I thought it was you were gonna put Kiefer Sherwood. I'm not even sure if he's Canadian.
He's
I don't even know if he's Canadian.
American.
Oh, he's American?
He might be better than Cal Palmieri, in all honesty.
Okay. Well, you know what? I actually was considering Dylan Strome, and you'll see who I have on my fourth line as well. But that's not even that out there.
My 13th forward is Travis Konechny. I just want to say I did these pretty unbiased. Like I didn't throw in a Canuck where there didn't need to be a Canuck. But the one thing that I kind of wanted to do, I wanted to put Brock Besser in. If he didn't get injured, I feel like he could have had a chance at making the Team USA roster. I'm kind of sad that he's probably not going to make it, but he could have been thrown in there, and I need to mention that. I feel like I
He was in the bubble for me, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wasn't even considering him.
He can score goals. You need guys who can score goals. I couldn't see.
Give us your forwards.
All right, so I have Mitch Marner with McDavid and Reinhart. I think I'm happy that more people are seeing the McDavid-Reinhart duo because it kind of came to me in a dream one day, and this is a dream duo. They have to play together. So I hope the Hockey Canada staff see it that way as well. I have Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon on the second line. The Nova Scotia line was too fun to pass up, so I put it together. I have Travis Konechny with Braden Point and Mark Stone on the third line. Then I have Brandon Hagel with Robert Thomas and Carter Verhaeghe on my fourth line, and Adam Lowry as my 13th forward.
Okay.
Now, Adam Lowry is something that's been rumored because he's an insane penalty killer and he's a good leader. So the one that really stuck out, the thing about your forward group that stuck out to me was not having Mark Scheifele. And then I remembered, he's a Canadian fan.
Look, I don't like how bad defensively Mark Scheifele is. I think I could see a world where like you say, I want to put him on the third line instead of Konechny. But I think the way other teams in this tournament are set up, especially the U.S., I think the way Canada's going to set up, it's going to be a little bit in terms of playing the U.S. I don't think the way Mark Scheifele plays and what he does is overly it's going to be overly conductive or good when you put him up against the Kachuk brothers or even a Jack Hughes or a JT Miller or even a Dylan Larkin, who's like these guys who are kind of annoying to play against. I think Mark Scheifele isn't great in those situations. I think Travis Konechny is. I think Travis Konechny's better defensively. I think Travis Konechny's better off the rush, which is going to help with Braden Point and Mark Stone, two other really good rush forwards. I think that's your. I don't want to say it's your matchup line, but I think it's a line that you can put out there against anyone and defend and get the puck up the ice fast, which I think you're going to need in an international best-on-best tournament. You're going to need to win the neutral zone battles, and I think that line is going to be good at doing that. So yeah, I considered Mark Scheifele, but just like a Clayton Keller and a Cole Caulfield for the US, I can't find a spot that I'm comfortable with him being in the lineup for. And so I don't have him there. Also, I really don't like him, so that didn't give him, like a 50-50, I'm choosing between this guy or this guy, let me roll a dice. He didn't get the benefit of the doubt on that.
You know what?
I think that the Robert Thomas pick is a great pick, and I really like
Robert Thomas.
I wanted to get. I wish that I had a 14th forward spot because I wanted to put Robert Thomas in. If I were making an Olympic roster, I would put him in over Dylan Strome. But because this is a fake tournament and means nothing, and it's replacing the All-Star game, put Dylan Strome on the team.
I think I'd prefer Dylan Strome to Robert Thomas, at least this year.
I don't think so.
Definitely, 100%.
Look, Robert Thomas has missed a month this year with an ankle injury, so I think that's an unfair comparison.
It is.
The problem is
100%. If it's an All-Star game, he's making it over Robert Thomas. But overall, like if you're looking at the grand scope of things, Robert Thomas is overall a better player. He has been a better player.
He kills penalties too. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Xavier, do you want to give your forwards?
So I totally agree with Rory on every single thing he said about Scheifele. I instantly saw him on the list, and I actively first decision on the team: do not have Mark Scheifele on the team. Him and Shea Theodore, I instantly chose do not put them on the team.
Scheifele's bound to make it because
not because I hate them.
I don't want him there
because he's a Canadian.
I don't want him there either. I'm with you guys. I want to say I'm on your side, but he's gonna be there.
I think it's just awful thinking. If he actually regularly plays, I think they're going to get crushed when he's on the So I have my top line. I also went with Reinhardt with McDavid. It also came to me in a dream. I had Verhaeghe, McDavid, Reinhardt, and then Nova Scotia line: Marchand, Crosby, McKinnon, and then Konechny, Point, and Mitch Marner, which I think is going to be nasty. I think that one could stand into either of the top two lines. And then on the fourth line, I've got Hagel, Cirelli, and then Bennett. And I'm surprised you didn't do this. I have Suzuki as the extra forward.
I was picking between Suzuki and Thomas. I like Thomas a little bit more. I was trying to be unbiased. I could see either one. I think Robert Thomas is a better player. That's the difference.
Hagel, Cirelli, Bennett is an insane...
It really is.
That would be ridiculous.
Cirelli has been so good this year.
Yeah, no,
I like the Cirelli pick because of how good he's been.
They're all great players, but when we're thinking of Canada, Team Canada, is that the line that
Canada's never really had a line like that?
I remember Brendan Morrow being on the 2010 team. That feels like that.
Okay, but Sam Bennett is better than Brendan Morrow was. So
and Dylan Strang.
I get what you're saying, but those are guys who that could be a genuinely good top line, maybe not top line, but a okay top line in the NHL.
It would be a good second line.
I
don't know if I'd say it's a top line.
I don't know. The way Cirelli's playing this year, I think if you had Hagel and then Bennett, you wouldn't complain about that having your first line.
I wouldn't complain about it. I would not complain about it, but it's not a top line that's
better than the Habs first line.
Look, okay, I really like Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli. Cirelli was also in that conversation with Thomas and Suzuki for me. I wanted to put Adam Lowry on the team just because of what he brings and the different kind of style. I think Cirelli, Suzuki, and Thomas are all very similar players of a similar echelon. I went with Thomas. I can see Cirelli. I can see, but I really like Brandon Hagel, and John Cooper's the coach. So I think there's going to be a couple
So John Cooper's the coach.
Yeah,
we fucking lost.
Didn't he win 2 straight cups?
Yeah, hold on.
Wait. Okay, hang on. We're counting those cups now?
Actually, great idea.
Good point. Good
Montreal
point.
should have won in 2021, actually.
True.
That's let's get illegal equipment. Don't look at any sources.
Not a real year. No, I think John Cooper's a good coach. I like trolling. Let's go to goalies. This is long.
I almost forgot about the goalies. I really hope we have 9 different guys.
Surely in one of the 3 spots, all of us have Binnington, right?
Yes. Binnington.
Okay, we all have Binnington. That's where the similarities might end. Who wants to give their other 2 goalies first?
Blackwood and Stuart Skinner.
Blackwood?
Blackwood is good. I like Blackwood.
He's good.
I like Blackwood. I think Blackwood's a better goalie than Stuart Skinner. I think it's an insane.
Oh, he's a better goalie than Stuart Skinner. I figured Xavier would have Stuart Skinner in there.
Yeah.
Okay, but I especially do not like Stuart Skinner, so I'm not biased in bringing him here. I'll say that.
No, that's awful. That's terrible. I like Blackwood.
Guys?
I don't think he's the pick for this tournament. Stuart Skinner's not the pick for anything ever. Rory, do you want to?
He's last for dodgeball.
Okay, my other 2, Aiden Hill. It's been pretty rumored. Pierre Lebrun's basically said that he is one of the 2 goalies of this tournament. I think he should be there. You could put another guy over there, and I wouldn't go against him. But one guy I think actually should be there is Logan Thompson. He's been really good this year. He's had a good run of form of the last 3 years when he's played. I like Logan Thompson. I think he should be there. And the other caveat I'll put on this is if Joey Decord was eligible to play for Canada, I would 100% play him there, but it
I would
does
have
not
him
sound
starting.
like he's going to be eligible without an injury and him getting his passport by February. So I would have Joey Decord there, and I might actually have Joey Decord as my starter if he's eligible. That's the only other thing I have to say.
Yeah, I also have Logan Thompson. I think he's a great goalie, and it's been fun. It has been a joy and a pleasure watching Washington Capitals hockey this season.
I know. I expected it to be awful, but they're a really fun team.
They are
Michael,
probably
too.
the most fun team to watch, at least
knew.
until Ovi got injured. They've been, they're still doing well without Ovi, but it takes it down a little bit when you don't have Ovi to watch.
Yeah, Ovi is the whole
they were the most fun team in the league to watch.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I also have Logan Thompson. For my third goalie, I can only pick one Vegas Golden Knight per team, I think. I did not want to have Aiden Hill on this. And I already had Pietrangelo, so now for my third pick, I want to be clear. This is not who I think they should go with if they want to win. But legacy-wise, I think they might bring along Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. He's not good, but I think they might bring him along just because he's Marc-Andre Fleury. So
I almost
I have a counter argument to that, actually, to say quickly, because there was a really good point I heard someone else say. Mike Johnson, one of my favorite analysts in the league, he said this on a Habs broadcast the other day, and like, if Canada had a goaltending situation like the U.S., where you have, say Hellebuck and Ottinger, Hellebuck and Swayman as your top two, I think they would have considered bringing Fleury along as your third goalie in that kind of, just like veteran experience and whatever role. But the fact that Canada does not have a lockdown starter right now, they don't have a guy that you can look and say, this guy is going to start for us and he's going to win us a tournament. You have to take three goalies that you think can battle it out in whatever mini camp they have and be the starter. Because you can't bring a guy along just because he's Marc-Andre Fleury. You can't do that in net. I could see them doing that on defense, like with Drew Doughty or Alex Pietrangelo. I could see them even doing that at forward if they wanted to bring, John Tavares along or something. I can't see them doing that in net just because of how volatile Canadian goaltending is right now.
I hear you, and I want to raise a counter-argument to your counter-argument. They absolutely can do that. This tournament is meaningless.
I definitely, that's exactly what I thought when I initially picked Fleury, but then I'm like, if Binnington goes down and Blackwood sucks, you have Marc-Andre Fleury as your starter. Like, it's he's not an actual option.
You put Fleury over there over Stuart Skinner.
Okay,
Why would you bring Stuart Skinner?
Now that I have the space to do it, I will explain. I'm gonna have to stand up for this. I will explain. I will explain my Stuart Skinner pick. Because, you need those guys! But this is different. He's not playing like a role player role. Besides Jordan Binnington, and Aiden Hill sucks, and I know Stuart Skinner he will get better. Stuart Skinner, he took a Canadian team to the finals. I just think, in terms of aura, I think he would be he has an outside chance of potentially stealing the net and being decent.
I could, I buy that
I'm talking like a 5% chance.
I don't know, man. I just think when Stuart Skinner plays good players who can pass the puck laterally, he's cooked. Look, Jack Hughes enters his zone and sends a cross crease pass to Tage Thompson with a one-timer. Stuart Skinner
save Stuart Skinner
net, sideways. I don't know. I don't like. He's too volatile for me. The whole thing about volatility. I think Jordan Binnington has actually won a Stanley Cup without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I think Aiden Hill has won a Stanley Cup without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And Logan Thompson's probably been the best Canadian goalie. So that's kind of my rationale for the three. And
he's definitely my third pick. He's not the safe, I think he can do it pick. It's a shot in the dark.
We've been doing this for a while. It's 11:30 at night.
Holy crap.
We'll end this part by saying Canadian goalies fucking suck and we're screwed. Yeah. And now, here's what's going to happen now. Because this is the Pacific Perspectives podcast. We need to go into our teams a little bit. But it is. We've been doing this for so long, and we have the 2 questions still. Let's spend 5 minutes doing this last part where we all talk about our teams and answer the 2 questions in
All right.
5 minutes.
Rapid
I'll start with the
fire.
Canucks. We don't have anyone, and we're still good. Xavier, how are the Oilers?
They're good, as everyone assumed. They're bouncing back. The most obvious bounce back in history.
Okay, wonderful. Rory, how are the Habs doing?
I might go into a little bit more detail here, not longer than a minute. Because it is impossible to describe the Habs this year in more than in 2 seconds.
An enigma.
They were the worst defensive team, maybe of all time, in October, and they were They were actually a solid defensive team in November. When they allow the first goal, they have no way to bounce back because they allowed another goal right after. The goaltending has been rather, I will say,
Who's peeing in your
inconsistent.
mouth? Sorry, continue.
The goaltending has been inconsistent. The guys that you want to do good mostly have, other than maybe Kirby Doc and Slavkovsky for first stretch. I really, really love Lane Hudson. That's all I have to say.
You
Okay.
really okay?
What are our 2 questions, Xavier?
All right. So the 2 questions, and I do want to spend a little more time on this. Well, at least one of them.
We have 3 minutes left.
Sharks or Wild for the next 10 years? I'd say let's here's the criteria. Who is more likely to win at least 1 cup in the next 10 years? And that question's from Sean Tunney, 48. What do you think?
All right, I will do my 20-second answer and then pass it on to you guys. I have the Sharks for 2 reasons. One, the top 2 senator combination of Celebrini and Will Smith is fucking nasty. It's gross and makes me want to puke in a good way. And also, Minnesota sports are cursed. I will pass it on.
I went with the Sharks because Celebrini.
What did you call him? Did you call him Celebrini?
Okay, I accidentally already go. Okay, Celebrini, I think by about the 5-year mark will be the best player between those teams. He'll be better than Kaprizov is basically what I'm saying. I think the Wild have.
Kaprizov's going to Chicago in 2027. All right, keep going.
I think the Wild might actually have better prospects than the Sharks, which is weird considering how good the Sharks. But I think they have better top end talent in terms of those prospects. So, yeah, it's really close. But I'd go with the Sharks just because all around they have higher end prospects at every position.
When you put the question in the framing of who do you think is more likely to win a cup in the next 10 years or more cups, I think it's easily San Jose. Like we said, Celebrini is by far the best player in 5 years out of any of these players. Will Smith is looking to be a very, very good, probably top line, second line center, if not a first line complementary piece of Celebrini. The amount of other top prospects the San Jose Sharks team has is insane. Sam Dickinson, unbelievable. Kasper Halttunen looks like, Patrick Laine light. What's his name? Luca Cagnoni has been lights out with the Barracuda this year after some good since Yaroslav Askarov in net, I think, is also great. I could keep going, but the way that JC is looking at me right now is if I name Sharks prospects all day, he's going to kick me off the podcast and I'll never be invited back again. So I'm going to stop there. I think the Sharks are just so good, and in 5 years, they're going to be a top tier contender. It's going to take a couple years, but once they get there, they're going to be unbelievable.
I was just waiting for you to say Askarov. I hope that he bench presses the net at some point.
That would be so sick. That would be so sick.
All right, best Christmas movie, go.
What, favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah, best Christmas movie.
You cut out both times you asked that question.
Best Christmas movie.
Okay, great. One of you start, I'll end it off.
Elf. Easily Elf. It's 100% Elf.
Elf.
No way he's leaving the room.
Elf is a genuinely bad movie.
I love Elf.
I
love it.
No, Elf is one of the worst pieces of garbage I've ever watched in my entire fucking life.
I agree!
It is so unfunny. It is so unfunny. There's no funny
buddy.
in it. It's just Will Ferrell acting stupid. The syrupy spaghetti makes me want to kill myself.
That movie
It's not even
churns
like-
out
it's the
white
most
Facebook
boring-
mom gifs like it's a
the worst
factory.
Disney movie climax ever. There's no soul in that movie at all. It's so bad, and I hate it. I hate it so much, and I hate you for saying it.
Polar Express.
Oh my god, that's
Polar Express is so good!
It's so dumb.
You look like that one kid who looks over the train seat.
Hey, you know what kind of train we're in?
It's actually a really good movie. Go watch it again. I promise
watched
you,
it.
it's a good
I don't-
movie.
Fine,
I
but
don't
for a
really
best
like the
Christmas
Polar
movie,
Express.
like
It was
it's
never
still
my
Uncanny Valley.
Okay, the
Okay, that's true.
other thing I'll say is I really like the Charlie Brown.
It's all right.
But
It's not long enough.
I don't like it. I don't like calling it a movie. Like it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like a special.
It's like a Garfield Christmas special.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Like it doesn't feel like a real movie to me. But I really do like it. It's really good.
It's really cozy.
Also, the SpongeBob Christmas movie. Is
Oh, let's go.
Okay, you're naming more movies now, and I haven't said mine.
Okay, then say yours.
Mine is definitely easily National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's such a nerd take.
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation.
It's
I watched it with my family every year as a youngin', and it was like
boring.
the first movie I got to watch that had swearing in it, and it's really funny. Chevy Chase is funny; he's just a dick. But as my honorable mention, I will say, I genuinely, 100% enjoy the Good Luck Charlie, It's Christmas.
What?
Good
I don't
Luck
think
Charlie,
I-
It's Christmas.
How many viewers do we have? Like probably like 200. I don't think a single one of them has even heard of that.
Heard of that?
Like
You guys didn't know Good Luck Charlie had a
Okay,
Christmas movie?
someone
No.
needs to. Okay, I'm just gonna prove a point.
All right.
Someone
okay.
comment
right now.
if you've
I will say right
watched
now,
that.
if you are listening still somehow after we yapped about the Four Nations face-off for like an hour,
I like the
if
4
you
Nations.
DM me saying I've heard of Good Luck Charlie, It's Christmas, and you're not lying, I will follow you back. Please indicate me.
A lot of people are gonna
I'm
lie.
not alone in this.
People are gonna lie. All right, I think we'll cut it there. That
Please do.
was a lot of fun. That was like an hour and a half. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rory, for coming on.
Yeah,
You were a
man.
great
Of course,
guest.
yeah. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
You're never getting invited back. You said fucking elf. I am never having you on this podcast.
I didn't
ever
know you
again.
hated Elf.
You
like
really
that.
fumbled right at the 1 yard line. That was insane.
I should have just like said like the SpongeBob Christmas special or something.
Dude, Xavier had Yesa Pugliarvi on his second line. Oh my god.
He had Kyle Palmieri making Team USA, by the way.
As the
Oh
13th
my-
forward. As the 13th
He
forward.
could be the 20th forward, and he doesn't deserve to be there.
Okay.
He doesn't deserve to make the 3rd U.S. team.
Third U.S. team.
He's not even in the ECHL Four Nations face-off.
The EC. Oh. Okay.
Okay,
That's a good
let's
one.
end it now. Thank you guys for
Um,
listening. Thank you, Rory, for joining. Thank you, Xavier, for giving us something to laugh at for an hour and a half. We'll see you all next time.